Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Baroud.
Welcome to episode 3 of The Debate Hockey Podcast. It's November 6, 2017. Tonight we debate, are the LA Kings a playoff team this season? What is the NHL teams of the future? And the Duchene trade. Who wins?
Win big. Inside Edge Hockey News. Saturday Night Challenge. Every Saturday night on DraftKings.
Topic number 1 on the debate tonight. The LA Kings. Are the Kings a playoff team?
To me, they're going to be there, but I think in the end, I don't think they have the depth right now to be a playoff team. Yeah, they got some guys off to hot starts. Guys like Adrian Kempe. Last year he had like 30 games played. He had like 9 points. This year he's got 10 points already. I mean, is he going to be able to keep up? Is he going to be able to keep up that pace all season long? I don't think he can. I mean, they're missing Jeff Carter. He had his calf slashed by his skate. He's out long term. I think depth is really gonna be a factor for him down the road. And you look at the teams they beat. 9 of their 10 wins are against Eastern Conference opponents. I mean, they haven't played any of the top teams in the West. They haven't played Anaheim. They played Calgary once. They have yet to play Vegas yet. We'll see what that goes. And they haven't played any of the California teams.
Well, let's take a look at where they're at. They've played 14 games. They're 10-2-2, 22 points. Very, very impressive.
Very impressive start.
Which is first in the Pacific, second in the Western Conference. Obviously, we have to give them credit for that.
Yep.
The biggest differences that I see so far is Anze Kopitar. Last year, Kopitar, and let's face it, he's a top 20 player in the league, top 15 in most people's opinions.
Probably top center in the game.
No,
top 10 center?
Oh, yeah, absolutely top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably argue some people would want him in
top
the top
5. Maybe, yeah.
Last year struggled, had a terrible off year.
Yeah, he only had 12 goals last year.
Yeah, well, he's at 7 in 14 games now. He's got 17 points, 10 assists. He's plus 6. He's doing other things, too. He's winning 56.2% of his face-offs. The guy's on fire. But here's what's really the sticky point for the Kings. A guy they talked about buying out,
Dustin Brown?
Paid that Vegas would. They wanted Vegas to take him. Dustin Brown, he's got 13 points in 14 games. Now,
can he keep up that pace all season long?
That's where I'm at. I mean, I'm looking at this team, and I don't think LA's a bad team at all. I don't.
Like last year, Dustin Brown had 36 points in 80 games. I mean...
And Dustin Brown's a good hockey player, but he has a role. And he's playing out of his role now. He's playing his role he had 5 years ago.
Yeah, when he's the captain, yeah.
But I think Brown's a good hockey player, but at his point in his career, do I think it's sustainable? No, I don't. Is Toffoli a good player? Yeah, he's got 11 points, 14 games, and I've always thought of Toffoli as a key cog to the Kings team. But when I look at this roster, I look at an aging roster.
Yep.
I don't know. Another thing that's kept him in it big time this year is Jonathan Quick.
Yep.
I mean, he went out in Game 1 last year with an injury, and now he's fired off 2 shutouts, .939, 1.99 goals against average. You're going to win some hockey games.
Yep. Can he stay healthy, though? That's the thing. He's been injured 2 of the last 3 years, and if he goes down, they don't got a Ben Bishop their first backup.
Well, I think he's got as good a chance of staying healthy as any goalie. I do. I don't. When I think of Jonathan Quick, I don't think injury prone.
The style he plays, though, I mean, he's prone to those lower body injuries. By the way he he plays.
But Blake, his style is butterfly, right?
Splits all the time.
Okay,
yep.
So 25 other goalies in the league have that style. I mean, I think goalies
no goalie in the NHL plays like Jonathan Quick.
No, I agree. He is all over the place, and he is very aggressive in there. I will give you that. But I think when you talk injury prone to goaltenders, I think they're all injury prone now.
Mm-hmm.
Just that position. There's people falling on them. People are going to the net harder. I mean, I do. I think that's a possibility. But I think when we're talking any hockey team, if we talk about their starting goaltender going out, that changes the equation.
There's a lot of teams that are in trouble. Look at Montreal right now. They're without Price.
There's a lot of problems. But you mentioned a point of Eastern Conference.
Uh-huh.
You look at their schedule; it is really off balanced.
Yeah, they have, and they're playing 3 more Eastern Conference teams in the next 5 games too. They're playing, 2 of them. They're playing Tampa Bay and Boston, 2 of the next 5 games. So,
and Boston's in trouble, and they should be able to take advantage of that one.
And then they play Anaheim, San Jose, and Vancouver.
And Anaheim's all injured. If you're going to play Anaheim, I want to play them right now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you look at who they've beaten.
Uh-huh.
You made this point.
Yep.
They beat the Flyers. They beat the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I think both those teams are adequate teams. They got beat by the Flames, who are surging. I think that was actually... I've watched a lot of Calgary. I think that's one of their best games that Calgary played this year, was that game.
Yeah, the one, the overtime winner.
Yep. They beat the Sabres, which is nothing. They beat the Islanders, which nothing. They beat the Canadians, which is nothing.
Twice. They beat the Canadians twice. Yeah.
They beat the Blue Jackets in a shootout. Or not in a shootout, but a 6-4.
Empty net. 6-4 thriller, yeah.
They beat Toronto. Or no, excuse me. They lost to Toronto. They beat Ottawa in a shootout. They beat Boston in overtime. And they were beaten by the Blues. So the teams that... And I left probably off a couple here. They ended up beating Toronto again and losing to Nashville.
Here's my thing, Brad. The teams that they beat are probably teams that they should beat. The teams that they lost to are teams that are better than them. That's simple.
But
St. Louis
schedule's going to change now.
Exactly. They're going to be playing more powerhouse teams in the West. They're going to be playing those San Jose. They're going to be playing Calgary. They're going to be playing Anaheim, and they're going to be playing like Chicago, Dallas. They haven't played any of those teams yet, and that's why I think they got a good cushion in the standings right now, but I think that the Western Conference is going to catch up to them because they're not going to have down the stretch in the season. They're not going to have those easy Eastern Conference games to lean on. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say easy Eastern Conference anymore, but yes, the teams they've played in the Eastern Conference
exactly.
have been the weaker teams. But you look at the Pacific. So let's break this down quick, and we'll both make our predictions where they're going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, not going to happen.
Yep.
Edmonton,
they're starting to scare me.
Their starts put them behind the 8 ball so bad that I think they're going to fight for a wild card spot.
This is the thing about Edmonton. Playoffs cannot be won in November, but they can certainly be lost. Yes. And right now, if they keep digging themselves in a hole, very tough because the Pacific's very tough.
You got Anaheim. Anaheim's 6-6. They're very injured. I'd look for them to have a little bump.
Mm-hmm.
Calgary's 8-6, 16 points. Calgary's starting to roll a little bit now.
Yeah.
Vancouver, I look for them to fall back. They've been very, very good. I think they've been playing out of their level a little bit. I think Vancouver's, for a lot of Vancouver fans, probably too good because they kind of wanted to get the top pick. No, I'm not saying the top pick.
Yeah.
The top pick.
Be nice to get Jonathan Dahlin.
But I think Vancouver might slide down. San Jose, I look for them to be in the mix. Vegas, I'd see them sliding down. I think LA is going to battle for the wild card spot with Anaheim, Edmonton.
Oh, maybe even Winnipeg too if they get going in the Central. There's a lot of teams that are going to fight for that wild card.
I don't think Winnipeg. Honestly, I don't think Winnipeg's looking. I don't think they're going to be battle. They're going to get a spot.
Oh, for sure. I
don't think they're going to be a wild card. I think they're going to get a spot. I think Nashville's going to be battling for the wild card.
That's what I had in my predictions. I have Nashville missing the playoffs, to be honest, because Ryan Ellis is out long term.
But now, we're getting a little off topic. But so, where do you put the Kings? Are they overrated right now?
Oh, they're playing way over their head right now, for sure.
And I agree on that.
Way over their head. Jonathan Quick is probably off to the best start of his career, and so are the Kings. 10-2-2 is they're the best start in franchise history. So it's gonna be very tough to keep this pace up.
They haven't even lost at home.
No.
Okay, we're gonna revisit this come Thanksgiving because we're gonna have a big show on that Thanksgiving break, and we're gonna talk about where our predictions are at and where they're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com. NHL news for NHL fans.
Topic number 2 in the debate. What are the NHL teams of the future? Now, when we say that, we mean teams that, they could win the Cup this year, but are more realistically going to be the teams that 3 to 5 years from now, let's say 3 to 4 years from now, are going to be the ones that are going to be hoisting the Cup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Blake, you give me one and I'll give you one to start.
Toronto.
Okay, I had Toronto too. Let's talk Toronto.
Toronto, very, very fun to watch. Very fun to watch. Very entertaining, actually.
But entertaining and fun doesn't win Stanley Cups.
Oh, but they got a lot of work to do. Yes, their decor very weak.
Okay, so let's look at the positives. I've got 6 players. Let's say 4 that are really big positives.
Marner, Nylander.
Marner, Matthews, Nylander, and Riley. I like that core.
Yep. And Anderson. You can throw Anderson in there, too.
Yeah.
He's young. Only 27 years old.
Yeah. Negatives for Toronto.
Obviously, defense.
And goaltending. They have no prospects that I know of that are top-notch prospects.
No goaltending prospects? Yeah, they don't got much. No. They got...
So...
They had Bebo, but they didn't sign him.
And I look at goaltending as the least of these in the simple reason that we're talking winning 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toronto just took Washington to Game 6.
Usually goaltending doesn't... I mean, goaltending prospects take a little longer.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with that. But Toronto, positives and negatives. My positives are those 4.
Yeah.
Negatives are this. I don't think they're going to be able to afford all 4. And negatives, they don't have a start to their defensive core to win 2 years from now.
They got Dermott coming up. He's a young defenseman, and they got Timothy Liljegren they just drafted, 17th overall.
I know, but you need to have some in place now.
Timothy Liljegren will be ready next year, and so will Dermott, I think, too. Because I think they brought in Ron Hainsey as a quick fix patch, and he's not a defenseman that can play top 2 minutes. Yeah, he did it in Pittsburgh in the Cup final last year with Letang out, but they brought him for leadership, and they have him playing top 2 minutes. I don't know what Babcock's thinking doing that, but I'm not really too sure about that.
Okay, so you think they're top end 2 to 4 years?
2 to 4 years, yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll be good in 2 to 4 years.
We're going to revisit Toronto, but let's talk about another team. And I know it's another one that you've named.
Edmonton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay, first off, is Edmonton further along than Toronto?
In what way? The defensive?
No.
Or just in general? In general, yes, they are. Yeah.
I agree. I think their front end forwards are better.
Whenever you got McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, your top 2 centers, or even Draisaitl on the wing with McDavid, you're golden.
Well, no, because you still have to. If they were golden, they'd be winning right now.
Yeah, but they're not scoring though. That's the thing.
Well, that's a problem. That scares the crap out of me if I'm an Edmonton fan right now.
And the goals aren't staying out of your net
that
too.
That scares the crap out of me if I'm an Edmonton fan right now.
Yeah.
It's time. I mean, we talked last week about the Edmonton and if it was time to panic, and we both agreed that it's probably panic time, but not totally. It's panic time.
It's panic time now for sure. So, you got to start winning hockey games.
I've got Edmonton's future as I got Draisaitl, McDavid, Klefbom, Darnell Nurse. I don't know on that one. The vote's still out on that one. But
what do you do with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins?
Well, I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a depth center.
Is a depth center worth $6 million?
No, but what do you do with him?
Same thing they did with Taylor Hall and Jordan Eberle.
What are you going to get? Who's going to take that salary on? New York Rangers? That's the only one I can think of.
A team like the Rangers.
Well, they take on all the dumb contracts.
Oh, they all got room.
Well, they don't because they bought a bunch of dumb contracts already.
I'm thinking like a team like Buffalo could take on a contract like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Okay, but is he bringing anything to the table for Buffalo?
They can even put him on the wing in Buffalo. Yeah. Many people say he's not big enough to be a center.
I think Edmonton is a little ahead of Toronto, but not by much. And the only reason I give them a little bit ahead is I think they're a little better on the back end. Already.
Little bit. Tiny bit. Not much?
Not much. Okay.
I mean, in Edmonton, you got Russell.
I'm going to name off 2 other teams. And then we're going to talk.
Okay.
Calgary and Winnipeg.
Winnipeg? Could be. The Hockey News predict them as the 2019 Stanley Cup champions.
Well, look at this. They've got this Connor kid that's doing well this year. They've got Ehlers, Laine, Scheifele, Morrissey, Trouba, and Hellebuck.
What about Buffalo?
Yeah, but I'm talking.
Future. Okay, young talent. Okay.
I don't look at Buffalo as talent to me. Buffalo's okay, but if you look at I think if they had to do over again, they would not do that again. But that's neither here. He's an asset right now. But
did you add Hellebuck in that conversation too?
I named him last.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I like Hellebuck. I don't know if he's the 100% guarantee, but I'd say he's 90% right now. I'll tell you what, though. They're not going to be able to keep all those guys because they can't afford them. Just same as Toronto.
Same as Toronto, yeah. Same
But
boat.
if they can keep 4 of those and build a couple younger assets to plug some holes, this team's for real.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the Cup this year, but they might be. They might give it a run this year. But I'm talking 2 years from now. Think about this team. Wow.
But the back end, though, do they really have on the back end, though? Yeah.
Trouba and Morrissey.
And I guess you got Tyler Myers.
You've got a decent...
Dustin Byfuglien.
Yeah, you've got a good back
Good,
end
decent
now.
top 4.
Yeah, so if you plug in a couple more prospects with that in 2 to 4 years, oh boy.
Is Hellebuck really the answer, though, in net?
We're going to talk about that next week. Me and you have been arguing about that for 2 weeks. That's on the show next week, is Connor Hellebuck. Let's not get into it now. That's on the show. We were going to have it on the show this week, and we didn't.
We had to talk about the LA Kings.
Yeah. Okay. My next team is Calgary.
Your favorite team. Are you being a little biased, Brad?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be truthful, and I'm going to name some players off here.
Uh-huh.
Johnny Gaudreau, Sean Monahan,
Kachuk,
Jankowski. Now, he's not proven yet, but he's just starting. He's a big-bodied center. And Sam Bennett. I know everybody in Calgary's ripping on Sam Bennett, and the league's ripping on Sam Bennett. And you know what? It's justified, because he's not played well.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything.
Whether they trade him for an asset or keep him, whatever they get's going to be an asset.
I got one question for you. Who's your goalie of the future, John Gillies or Tyler Parsons?
Take your pick, buddy. I like them both.
I think.
How do we?
I
know?
think John Gillies is really the guy.
I know, but we haven't put him in a situation to determine that. But I do know this: we've got a pretty good chance that one of the two is going to be good.
Yeah, or both. They've both been proven.
So think about that. That's a pretty good young roster for 2 to 4 years from now, right?
And their back end is phenomenal right now.
Yeah.
So, and they're young.
So they're a team for maybe next year.
If they get good goaltending, very, very much so.
With the way Smith is playing, there's got to be Vezina talk for Smith this year so far.
Well, I mean, look what Smith can do with the defensive core in front of him.
Well, yeah, but the defensive core has been giving up more shots than they've ever expected to be giving up.
Yeah, Hamannik's hurt right now.
That might be a topic for next week, is talking about Mike Smith.
Yeah.
That guy's been unreal.
Yeah, he has been unreal.
We're getting a little off topic. I'm going to name another team now. I named out 4 teams. We talked about Edmonton and Toronto. You had them on your list. I had Calgary and Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
I think Calgary and Winnipeg are just a little ahead of Edmonton and Toronto only because of the back end. Do you agree or disagree?
Defense wins championships, and so does goaltending, and they got the edge there too.
I got another team, and this is a sleeper, and I don't have as much ammo on this one. But you ever get a gut feeling once in a while, and you're just like, man, I don't know. The Philadelphia Flyers. They've got Nolan Patrick now and Gostisbehere.
He hasn't done much at all.
Provorov, well, he's been injured, but Provorov is a top-end defenseman in my mind. I think he's...
Who's your goalie, though?
Oh, I know.
They got no goalie.
I know. And that's why they're probably not justified on this list.
No.
But, so...
Well, you got Giroux, Couture,
So
Couturier.
you got Edmonton, Toronto. I got Winnipeg, Calgary.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Those are 4 good hockey teams.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, 4 hockey teams that could very much so win in the next 4 years for sure, especially Toronto and Edmonton.
It's going to be exciting to watch those teams.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Inside Edge Hockey News, faking the slapper and going top shelf.
Debate topic number 3, Duchesne trade. Who wins that trade? Is it Ottawa, Nashville, or Colorado?
Honestly, for now, Colorado wins this trade. I'll tell you why.
Okay, first off, we need to put a disclaimer on this. No one knows who won this trade until 5 years from now. 4 years from now.
5 years?
3 years from now. Because
why? Why 5 years?
Well, because we need to see how this all plays out.
Well, from Colorado's standpoint, yes. Because you don't know what those picks are and you don't know what those rookies are.
We don't, but I got an opinion, you got an opinion. Mm-hmm. So let's fire away here.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why Colorado won.
First off, let's break down the trade here.
Uh-huh.
Colorado gets Shane Bowers, Andrew Hammond, Samuel Girard, Vladislav Kamenev, a first-round pick from Ottawa, a second-round pick from Nashville, and a third-round pick from Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
Ottawa gets Duchesne. Nashville gets Turris. That's pretty much who gets who.
Yep.
Now, who gave up the most?
Who gave up the most?
Let's decide that first. Who gave up the most?
Nashville did, for sure.
No.
Nashville?
Ottawa did. Ottawa gave up.
Girard?
Yeah, but
Kamenev?
Okay, Kamenev's
And a second-round pick?
an AHL player.
But Hammond's been stuck in the AHL he hasn't been good since that run in 2015.
Okay, so they gave away Hammond because they didn't need him.
And they didn't need him, no.
They didn't need Kamenev.
The first-round pick is whatever.
That's a big deal.
That's going to be a high first-round pick.
That's what I mean. They gave a high first-round pick up. Ottawa gave up.
Not much value to that.
I think Ottawa gave up. There's not much value in a 2018 first-round pick.
The draft class isn't as strong as the last 2 years.
Wow, cheapers up. Yeah, I know, but it's still a first-round pick. Look what Nashville gave up. What did Nashville give up?
Second-round pick, Girard, and
doesn't matter.
And Kamenev.
Yeah, they didn't give up much.
Bowers is from Ottawa. Shane Bowers, is he from Nashville?
I don't even know. Who cares? It's Shane Bowers. You don't even know who Shane Bowers is?
No, I've never heard of that.
I don't either. He could be the trainer for all I know. I don't know. I think the team that gave up the least
is
Colorado.
The team that gave up the least is Ottawa. You know why?
No, Colorado did.
No. Listen. They got Duchesne.
Colorado gave up the least. They gave up Duchesne. Duchesne didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
He was never going to work there ever since that fiasco started.
With Patrick Waugh.
It feels like 10 years ago we've been talking about Duchesne.
Yep.
And now I'm so happy it's done. But they didn't give up anything because he wasn't staying there anyways.
In a way, they cashed in, but they could have got a lot
more at the draft.
Uh-huh.
They could have got a lot more at the draft, but they chose not to, and that's going to haunt them probably. But whatever. But Nashville, let's look at what they got. They got Turris. They got a good. Nashville figured out early in the season they were in trouble without Fisher.
Fisher's 38.
I know, but they're missing two front end guys from the playoffs last year.
What has Turris done his whole career? His highest point total he's ever got was 64 points 2014-15 in 82 games. Is 64 points worth $6 million?
Well, in my mind, no. But if you compare that $6 million to a lot of that, he's better than a lot of the other $6 million guys out there. A lot of them.
He's a good two-way center.
He's going to bring them depth up front scoring, and they've struggled terribly with that this season. And they signed him for 6 years at $6 million, which I think is going to be a value, especially in year 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. Duchesne,
he's in a contract year.
Ottawa, he's in a contract year. They better be damn sure.
No, they're going to lock him up long term.
I would hope so, but what's he going to cost him? Ottawa proved me something in this.
They're going for it.
They're going for it.
Yep.
They're hell or high water. We got to win in the next 2 years.
Yep, for sure.
Which, I mean, is great. I think the genius of this whole deal, though.
Joe Sakic?
Absolutely not. Joe
Sakic is
the clown of this whole
exactly
deal. He should have made a deal a year ago.
Yeah.
You knew the guy that stole the show on this? Is the guy who's been stealing the show at trades here for the last year. David Poile. He is. Think about this.
Last year he got Subban.
He's gotten a ton of trades. He's the only GM. I mean...
He pulls the trigger on a lot of ballsy trades, for sure.
He needs a wheelbarrow to get those things out of the arena at night. He makes some bold decisions, and he's living and dying by it, and he's been doing pretty good.
That Subban trade really worked out for him. They went all the way Cup final.
The Seth Jones-Johansson trade worked out good for him.
Oh, yeah.
He's done a lot of good trades. And now this trade, from what I've heard, was a go, dead in the water. Nashville got involved and got it going again because Nashville's wanted Turris for 2 years.
Nashville actually backed out of this deal because they wanted Ekholm. Colorado wanted Matthias Ekholm in the deal.
Well, why would you give that up, though?
I mean, if you
They didn't have to. They did it without it now.
With that's Gerard?
Yeah, but he's a depth defenseman. They don't.
He's young.
Yeah, but he's not going to affect them right now. And let's face it, the Predators are a now team too.
So Colorado though?
What's Colorado? That's really what
Or not Colorado, sorry, Ottawa.
Ottawa's a now team.
Ottawa's a now team?
Obviously Colorado's not a
Colorado's got a lot of work to do. Mm-hmm. But they got pieces though. They got some pieces.
They do have some pieces.
Tyson Jost, good young hockey player.
You have to be proven. But yes, I agree. They have some pieces. So let's wrap this one up with, who do you think won right now?
Ottawa for sure won the trade because they get Matt Duchene without trading Logan Brown, Thomas Chabot, or Colin White. If I'm Colorado and I'm trading Ottawa, Matt Duchene, I'm asking for Thomas Chabot back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
20-year-old defenseman. Duchene is only 26 years old. He's in the prime of his career. Turse is 28, okay? Matt Duchene, he's back at home in Canada. I think he's really going to thrive with this fresh start. He can be playing with Hoffman and Bobby Ryan. That's one of the best first lines in the league. Duchene's been playing mostly wing.
7.
He's been playing mostly wing in Colorado, and he's going to be playing his natural center position, which he should be. I mean, Colorado definitely.
So you think
Colorado? They could have got a lot more.
I think Nashville wins. You think?
I think Ottawa won for sure.
Right.
Just because Duchene's only 26 and he's going to be signed a 5 to 6 year extension.
They can hope.
No, he will. He'll resign there.
I agree. I do think he will.
What do you think of him wearing number 95?
You want to know why he's wearing that?
Yeah, his 2 childhood numbers. That's kind of flashy, I think. New team, 95.
If I was him, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either.
But so you think Ottawa wins? I think Nashville wins.
Yep.
Inside Edge Hockey News, bringing you inside the game.
Thank you for listening to the Debate Hockey Podcast. Check us out on InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com. Follow us on social media at Inside Edge Hockey News. And most importantly, download the Debate Hockey Podcast on your favorite podcatcher. Check us out on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, Radio Line, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy this week's hockey action, and we'll see you again next week.
Inside Edge Hockey News on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. Get connected.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Baroud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.